Plan to boost immigration as country faces labor shortage. The federal government plans to significantly increase the number of immigrants entering Canada, aiming to have 500,000 of hers in Canada by 2025. Immigration Secretary Sean Fraser announced the new targets on Tuesday, saying the move is necessary to ensure Canada's economic prosperity. The announcement marks a significant increase from her 405,000 immigrants who came to Canada last year and her 465,000 expected next year. Canadian industry faces a severe labor shortage. There are about 1 million job vacancies nationwide. The new plan will focus on increasing the number of immigrants allowed into the country over the next 3 years based on their work skills and experience. The news comes as new census figures released last month show immigrants and permanent residents now make up 23% of her population, a record high. According to Statistics Canada, recent immigrants, those who arrived between 2016 and 2021, are on average younger than the rest of Canada's population and have helped fill many jobs in Canada's job market. Immigration accounted for 4/5 of Canada's labour force growth from 2016 to 2021. Most recent immigrants are selected for their ability to contribute to Canada's economy. More than half of recent immigrants, 748,120 of the 1.3 million people who entered Canada between 2016 and 2021, entered Canada in the economic category. The Business Council of Canada, BCC, welcomed the federal government's announcement and said employers across the country were struggling to fill vacancies. In a media statement, the BCC said he wanted to increase the number of immigrants allowed in the business category from just over half of the total to 65%. BCC President and CEO Goldie Hyder said in a media statement, "Each unfilled job means one less person contributing to Canada's economic growth and a loss of Canada's social infrastructure. It represents one less person paying taxes to support immigration." Refugees and Citizenship Canada said it would not meet the BCC's request because it has set a target for economic immigration of 60% of its annual total by 2025. According to the BCC, a recent survey of its members found that 67% of them cancelled or postponed major projects because they couldn't find workers. The group also said 30% of her members had been forced to move their jobs outside of Canada. Ottawa plans to increase the number of family immigrants more slowly, from about 106,000 in 2023 to about 118,000 in 2025. The federal government has also announced that it will gradually reduce the number of refugees coming to Canada from over 76,000 in 2023 to just under 73,000 in 2025. Despite the decline, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, welcomed the federal government's announcement and said it commended Canada's leadership in refugee resettlement. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees welcomes Canada's continued commitment to resettlement of refugees as part of its overall plan to increase migration. Refugees need life-saving solutions like resettlement. And they also make an important contribution to the fabric of Canada's economy and our communities. Plans to welcome a record number of immigrants to Canada include hiring needed workers, but experts and employers are saying more to help newcomers settle into new homes and thrive. The federal government aims to welcome 1.45 million new permanent residents to Canada over the next 3 years, including her 500,000 in 2025. The move comes as Canada grapples with a labor shortage. "Without immigration, our workforce will not grow," said Anil Verma, Emeritus Professor of Industrial Relations and Human Resource Management at the University of Toronto Rotman School of Management. According to the government's autumn economic statement, immigration is at the core of our identity as Canadians, as well as a key driver of Canada's economic growth. Ottawa believes encouraging immigration will help meet workforce needs in a country with an aging population and a record number of retirement plans. The federal government aims to have approximately 60% of new arrivals in economy class by 2025. This is the people who come to Canada looking for work skills and the families that accompany them. Dennis Darby, President and Chief Executive Officer of Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters, CME, said members of his trade association were extremely grateful for the government's efforts. That's how we get the next generation of people we need. The Business Council of Canada, BCC, an advocacy group representing business leaders in various industries, also supports the approach, but believes Ottawa could be bolder in its hiring goals. In terms of direction, we are happy with the trajectory of the government, said Trevor Neiman, the Council's Director of Policy and Legal Counsel. Both the BCC and CME support more workers entering the country and economy. Regardless of the size of the cohort, moving to another country to start a new life and secure employment won't happen overnight, warns Verma. This means that the impact of these new workers on the job market will not be realized immediately. The math to fill vacancies is a very difficult one, and I don't think it should be the basis of long-term immigration policy, Verma said, adding that economic growth and nation building were among the more relevant factors. The federal government says its immigration plan will help Canadian businesses find needed workers in key sectors such as healthcare, construction, manufacturing, science, technology, education and mathematics, STEM. Immigration Secretary Sean Fraser said targeted lotteries will be conducted over the next year to attract applicants with the most in-demand skills to the specific areas where they are needed. A key focus will be on recruiting local doctors and nurses to ensure that the qualifications of these new arrivals are quickly recognized, the minister told Reuters. As for the manufacturing sector, CME's Darby said there is high demand for both skilled and general workers, with more than 80,000 vacancies filled across Canada. He suggested that BCC members, including banks, mining companies and other large businesses, said immigration was key to finding the staff they needed, according to the BCC. The council conducted a survey in the first quarter of this year and he received responses from 80 of its 170 members. Respondents included CEOs and other senior business leaders. 2/3 of respondents said they recruited staff directly through Immigrants, while the BCC said the rest hired immigrants who already live here. But he said the country now faces more competition for people as other countries are also facing labor shortages.